We're going to do a thread repair to this carburetor float bowl. Hopefully you can see the thread well enough in there. This is a zinc die cast part. Zinc die cast doesn't age very well, becomes very brittle. And this is a float bowl for Rolls-Royce 2530 and Wraith. And a very similar design was carried over to the post-war six-cylinder cars as well. So you'll notice that the wall thickness around here is very, very thin, and there's not a whole lot of material to work with. And my plan is to install a solid insert. I already made one because I wanted to make sure that the parameters of this insert is going to be suitable. It's such a thin wall that sometimes the two threads cause an opening. So I think we're looking good here. It's 9/16 20 on the outside, and then I did 7/16 BSF on the inside. Now the original thread was 1/2 inch BSF, but I cannot get it back to a 1/2 inch BSF because there's just not enough material around here to work with. And 7/16 will be perfectly fine. So again, we have a very, very fragile casting, so we have to be very, very careful with it. Now we have two nice faces that we can use to hold it into the vise. Like that. And we need to get centered over the hole, so we bore it out nice and straight and perpendicular. So I like to use a tap. There's still enough thread in there that I was able to have a tap catch in there. So I'm going to use that for my setting up my centered area. So we'll hold the tap in the chuck. And we'll find a place where okay. And we can bring the bed up to this flange. So we don't want to push. We want to make sure it's seated on there. Then we can move the movable portion of the movable jaw up to it. We're just checking how we're doing on the getting it squared up in the vise. Setup is the most important part, and setting things up in a milling machine is a little bit trickier usually than in a lathe. So I'm happy with that. Fortunately, we have some bosses down here that it can rest onto the vise so that it won't have a tendency to tilt. Okay, we got that squared away. And what I want to use to bore this out is a fly cutter. I think that a drill would be too risky, since the twisting and the wedging effect could cause the rest of the zinc die cast thin-walled area to just break away. And we want to bore that out to 515 thousandths. So that would be a good bore size for the 9/16 tap we're going to use. Okay. So I need to bring this out to where it's just about ready to cut. Another nice thing about using a boring head is that you can move a little bit here one way or the other so that you can increase your wall thickness. So again, I'm just trying to get the best wall thickness I can in this area. And that's looking really nice there. So I'm gonna take a pass down and see where we are. Going through. I see a little wiggle. Turn her down some. Set a stop. Measurement. I'm at 480. So I need to go 35. I'll do another 10. See how that looks. And I'm just going to do a test measurement before I go all the way down. Okay, still in good shape. And I can see that I'm cutting into some nice clean metal. Okay, take a measurement. And I'm just about at ½ inch, so we need to go another 15 thousandths. So we unlock and then see how well I can show you this. So yeah, so you release the lock here, And then you can dial here. So it's at 10 now. I'm going to do another 10. Bring it up to 20. Put the lock in. And then we'll bore. Looking pretty nice in there. I'm going to get a measurement. And I'm at, oh, dead on 515. Okay. So now we can thread it. Clean out some of the chips. Looking good. So now I'm going to switch over back to the chuck, so I can use that to hold the tap steady. We have everything centered, and we want to keep it that way. Let's start off with a nice taper tap. Set in nicely. I'm not going to use any lubricant because we have a nice thread in there now. Gotta get the filings out of there. we're just going to let it find its way along down to the bottom, cutting nicely. Then zinc die cast is very soft stuff. Fortunately, Rolls-Royce and Bentley did not use a whole lot of zinc die cast pieces and parts. But when they did use it in this one case, it was in the most important part of the whole car, the carburetors. Because they used a zinc die cast float bowl in the Phantom 3 carburetor, which tends to break up. And we make replacements of those. That's for this to give away on me. Yeah, so that made a difference. Let's see what we have. I'd like to do a little more thread, but I think that's probably more than enough actually. Yes, I think I want to play it safe there. There's a good 5/8 or 9, I would say 5/8 or face that off though. Now that I have everything situated, I can move the bed. in. Okay, so now it's a matter of getting the insert in place, and we're all done. So we have our nice clean new thread. I'm very happy with how that turned out. It cut into the old material very nicely, fortunately. We have our threaded insert with both the internal thread and the external thread ready to go in. I did not show the process of making this, but it really was nothing very difficult to do. I just turned down a piece of brass, threaded the outside, the 9/16 20 I believe it is, and then threaded the inside 7/16 BSF. So this is ready to be installed. I like to usually mount it up onto a bolt like this, so it gives you something to hold on to. We're going to put a fair amount of Loctite on this. I should also point out that I did an undercut here, and that's just so that we'll have a good amount of contact in that area to help sealing. So Loctite is going to keep this secure, and also it's going to act as a sealant. Loctite is a very good sealant, even for gasoline type joints like this. So we put enough on to make sure it's nicely coated. Put some along the flange. So it's a lot of Loctite, but that's going to be okay. We thread it in. We're going to tighten it up. You can see all the Loctite has squished out the sides, so it's very nice fit. Okay, then we're going to use our other wrench to take this out. And there it is. I think overall that's a very nice looking repair. I'm going to wipe off the extra Loctite there. And I think that's going to bring new life to this casting. These are impossible to get, so reclaiming it is the best thing. You'll see that it looks as though it's on a little bit of an angle, and I think that's just the way that the casting has aged. So there's our nice new brass thread, and once that is set up, it can be put together and put on the car, and we will be in good shape.